Balls. Balls.
Save about 500 bucks. You save about 1,000 plus.
To work out cheaper for me.
3,000,
215, even more.
It's worth for 200 plus. 400 bucks of savings.
I reckon I'm not needed anymore. Now the placement of the pedals, I would have preferred if the brake and accelerator is slightly more towards the right side. It is currently a little bit towards the left, which is alright. I mean, the 360 cameras are fantastic, right? The rendering of the reverse camera takes a bit of getting used to, but the 360 is phenomenal. Many cameras around this car. You can hear the sound. The quiet little electric hum. I'm beginning to like how electric cars sound, because it's just so different. Holy. It's a very weird sensation, and I like it. I like it. I mean, if Porsche, from the learnings of this Taycan, I think they can electrify their entire range now, because it's just so logic. Just think about it, the little nuances that we get when we drive a traditional ICE car, right? When you shift the gears, you feel that little bit of a jerk, or when you're driving, you put the throttle down and then there's a downshift that happens, and all this, you know. All this is not in an electric car, right? Let alone a super EV like this. It's just, like I said, it's been a long while since I got excited about driving any cars, and this certainly got me. When I go into Sport Plus, it activates that sound. I mean, it's almost like you're driving a spaceship, but then when you activate Sport Plus, you're driving a bigger spaceship of sorts. Alright, let's try this. Oh my god! Holy! This is not even the fastest version, this is just the 4S, right? And just now, I'm putting my foot down in a linear manner. No, I did not dump it. Damn. Okay. This thoroughly feels like driving a spaceship. Now I'm one of the very few journalists in Malaysia that has reviewed a Tesla Model S all in, in detail. And I can tell you, first thing, the Tesla Model S, when you got up into the car, it feels, it doesn't feel like something special, apart from the big screen that you see. Oh, resembles a giant portrait mode computer screen, but the interface is almost looks like a browser with some buttons where you might need a mouse to click at, right? Whereas the Taycan, it really conforms back to the ergonomics of what the car industry has established and developed over the past 100 years. So the placement of things, in a way, is more logical. You don't need that big of a learning curve. Granted, the screen of the Tesla is not difficult to operate when you are static. That means when you are parked, right? It's completely okay now. Do I dump the throttle? Just dump. My God! Holy! Oh, I need to let go. But it's so linear. It is so linear. Oh my God! The braking, the brake pedal feels fantastic. Porsche has really done their homework here. The way the brake pedal feels as you put your foot down, as opposed to how the car decelerates, is intuitive and easily. You don't need new muscle memories to operate it. So in this respect, Porsche certainly has done a much better job than others. As for the way it slows down, okay, this is very similar to the Tesla. See, the thing is this, in an engine, in an ICE combustion car, let me put you guys to another place. When I explain things, you might need to look at me, perhaps, right? Why is the guy stopping in the middle of the road? Is he checking on the car? Or what is he doing? Alright, so in an ICE combustion car, you have your right foot, right, connects to the engine. The engine is a huge block. I mean, if you have a big displacement engine, it's huge. Small engine, small. Nevertheless, it is still one big chunk of metal with the pistons, solid metals, right? Like my Aston is 12 of them, right? And the pistons are all connected to a crankshaft. And can I interrupt? It's so comfortable because the road here is really, really bad. It's like almost half off-road-ish kind of road, and this car just absorbs everything. Anyway, coming back. The big pistons, the crankshaft, you know, the con rods, all these heavy metals being moved at a very high speed carries a lot of kinetic energy, alright? And they're connected to those huge flywheels, torque converters. All these are made of metal, heavy again, and then connected to a gearbox that is this huge, this big, right? The gearbox, right? 8-speed, 9-speed, 10-speed. And that gearbox with stuff spinning in there, few thousand RPMs, are also carrying a lot of kinetic energy. And then the gearbox goes up to your long shaft, right? And the gearbox might have another connector to the rear wheels or the front wheels, the drive shafts, the long shafts, to the differential, and to another 2 shafts. All these things spinning at a high velocity carries a lot of kinetic energy. And that is why in an ICE car, when you are traveling at a high speed, and when you brake your car, all this kinetic energy is converted to heat from your disc brakes and your brake caliper. That's the only way to disperse them. And that's why when you brake your car in an ICE combustion car, when you apply the brakes, you will feel so much energy. You will feel that. But you don't feel that in an electric car. They brake linearly, even though speed is being shed off. Because the whole car, despite of its own weight, doesn't carry that much kinetic energy. Moreover, when you're braking, like now, I apply the brakes, the calipers actually don't touch the discs. Alright, it is actually the electric motors absorbing the energy back into the car, converting them into electric power. Right? So it is a totally different sensation. Right? When you're accelerating, you feel that it's immediate, and then when you're decelerating, it can brake so fast, and you don't feel uncomfortable from all the kinetic. You don't feel this like you would in an ICE car. It's just weird. Very spacious, very fast, very comfortable. I can forgive everything else about this car. Yes, I know I complain about the plastics, but I know Porsche wants you to spec it up. It makes sense. They want you to pay more. Which business doesn't, right? And the stitching, the leather is still the usual Porsche quality is there, but this car is also a different positioning, and I don't expect Panamera levels of opulence, you know. It's a different proposition. So this one has now become a small car that you can drive comfortably, easily every single day, and yet you still can carry your kids or your family members at the back, or your colleagues when it needs to. And then there's zero consumption, right? You're not consuming any fuel. It's really very nice. Now if I put it back to sport or normal mode, I lost that louder hum, but I can still hear the electric motors running. Alright? My God, it's just so nice. There's no hesitation whereby I need to wait for the car, you know, to react to my throttle input like ICE cars needed. For those who don't understand, internal combustion engine means ICE. Right? Like all cars are ICE because they run on either petrol, diesel, or whatever. See, that's a heavy braking there. And apart from hearing the electric motors spinning, converting energy back, I don't hear anything else. Right? And I kinda enjoy listening to the hum. I'm not sure if this is purely the mechanical sounds from the electric motor, or the speakers actually do emit some form of feedback to the driver, because I distinctly remember driving the Tesla Model S is completely silent apart from the tire roars, and because the car is so silent, the tire roars are a bit more I can observe or hear the tire noise a bit more. Alright, and it's just weird. This car is so different, but within such a short period of time, it is something that is so easily adaptable to. My God. Oh dear. Oh dear. Sorry, there's no point to drive this to the highways and do a high-speed run, but on these everyday roads, oh my God. How? You know, the moment you drive an electric car, immediately you feel that whatever 4-liter twin-turbo V8 is pointless. V12, yes, you get that sound, but this one you get another sound, you know? Damn. And it's just so livable. And the fact that, you know, most people would say that, oh, electric car only has 300 or 400 kms of range, right? And then you distinctly remember that, oh, my petrol car, I can go 400 or 500. I mean, of course, some cars you get 600, 700 km. But the difference is this: do you park your car at the petrol station every single night with a gun in your fuel tank, refueling it every single day? You don't, right? But in an electric car, you do. So every day you go home, you can just plug it in, and every day you start afresh with 400 km. That's a very different perspective, right? You refuel at home. And as human beings, we need to sleep anyway. But of course, traveling, you will have that range anxiety or that concern with charging. But when you come to think about it, as long as you have a 3-pin plug in your car, you can literally charge anytime the car is parked. Of course, you can't when you, let's say, you travel to Georgetown and then you stay in one of those in-city small hotels and you have to park behind some back alleys. That might not be a good idea nevertheless. But granted, this car doesn't target those people who only have one car at home. It targets people like me. I have choices, right? And damn, this is a revelation. I mean, yes, when I drove the Tesla Model S, I was also super amazed with its performance. And in fact, I think I'm the only one who drove a Tesla Model S into Sepang, where I have a day of experience in chasing an NSX-R, or letting an NSX-R chase me at Sepang. That was a pretty interesting shoot where we booked the whole Sepang, and it was sponsored by the guys who were selling the number plate YY. Is it YY? Or is it GG? I forgot. But anyway, yeah. There's not much for you to interact with when you are driving this car in an enthusiastic manner. As in, there's no paddle shifters, there are no there's nothing apart from the brake and the accelerator, right? So for those who like to fiddle with their paddle shifters, you don't get that interaction, you know. Other than that, it is just everything being deduced, right, to what's needed to move and stop at the end of the day, right? And damn, it is still a Porsche. It is still a Porsche. Now I'm feeling tempted to bring this car to a Genting run. Can't. I only have one day with it, and I'm gonna have my team drive it later on for photo shoots or whatnot. But granted, it is so livable. It is so livable. Damn. And it's not expensive. It is not expensive. I don't know, 600,000 or I think it's 699,000. It is not expensive for the capability, packaging, and what it resembles. Yeah, it's not expensive. But of course, I would urge Porsche or any electric car sellers to have a very comprehensive pre-approved or approved pre-owned system, preventing these cars from being circulated outside, right? Because value can be upheld artificially to turn it, to make it into what it is, market price, right? Because if you uphold it well, it will become the exact value of what they resemble. And if they depreciate really slowly and not being open for abuse by car resellers out there, then you get a very healthy used market, and this would create a kind of magnet effect in making people convert and just jump onto the bandwagon. Think about it. Just back in about 2012, a Mercedes E300 E-Class, right, with the AMG line, body kit and all that, is 500,000 ringgit. And this is just 100,000 more. 100,000-ish more, in a way. Alright. And I'm completely sold, even though it doesn't make an engine noise, but most engine noise aren't pleasant anyway, right? And can you tell me honestly, the sound, is it more satisfying than this? Damn! These are the kind of cars where you can do those immediate overtakes, you know, because they just do it so rapidly. There's no wait, there's no need for the RPM to build, and there's no braking it is so easy. Damn, I'm sold. I am so sold. Now, Porsche, can I please request for a Taycan convertible? Please. Yeah, a Taycan convertible would be greatly appreciated. I'm so glad I choose to do my review around everyday driving situations, because this is how most people use their cars 99.99% of the time, especially one with 4 doors. Alright? I just wish people from the outside can hear what I'm hearing now, you know, because it's just so different. I like the steering feedback. Can you believe that? I like the steering feedback. That's Porsche for you. My God. This is just... I love the visibility. Damn. So... we are now in an era where 0 to 100 can be reached so rapidly by these electric cars that they are rendered irrelevant. Seriously, it's irrelevant now. And in every respect of what we car reviewers always judge ICE cars on. You just think about it. Smoothness, gear change smoothness, ride comfort, NVH, right? Immediacy of throttle response, and how fast the engine reacts, how well the brakes brake the car. All these metrics are completely destroyed and smashed by electric cars. Isn't that every single measure that people judge cars on these days? Isn't that so? If it is, it no longer makes sense. It seems like it no longer makes sense for ICE cars. My God. Let me put you guys back here. Just think about it. we were having a meeting the other day. So these are my neighbors who when they bought their units, their cars have to be parked outside, right? So we were talking about allowing them to install their own solar panels and then hook it up to their own charging unit. So when they park at home, they can charge their cars. Of course, not at night, right? For those who park indoors, we're gonna upgrade the facility so that they can, at their own expense, install their own electric chargers. So easy to drive because of the size. I'm glad they didn't make the Taycan the size of a Panamera, because that would make the car not as easy to steer, especially in these kind of conditions. And I like the fact that the bulge, the two classic Porsche haunches, will remain. So that would mean I can install my own charging unit here and charge my car at my own expense, right? And I come home and I can just charge, right? Switching off, hold the on-off button. See, it's not a start-stop button, it's the classic on-off button of electrical appliances. Look at that. That's the on-off button, not start-stop button. I like that little touch. That's the Porsche Taycan 4S. And it makes me excited and totally persuaded me that EV is definitely the future. I'm more receptive of EVs now. Totally. Alright? Cheers, guys.
Thank God that the brothers on the rise now. Endless celebrations all in my house.